Good morning, everybody. So I want to go over pretty quickly why it is that I mention it can be too late for some people who are dealing with major infection or in hospice, okay? Because in a lot of ways, how people introduce JJ is going to be one way someone's going to take it or leave it. And then when JJ gets applied is going to be the difference between whether someone's going to take it or leave it. And so there's two ways of it to be too late, okay? The first way is when somebody's in hospice and then you try to apply J-juice and they're already on a death trajectory in hospice. They already have major addictions that they're dealing with. They already have a set regimen that is already being implemented that is going to overwhelm a lot of other protocols that may be out there as far as nutrition and other types of pain-inducing type of protocols that will then lead to a more of a life trajectory. So when you have major amounts of prescription drugs, you already have about 90% of your body already taken over by cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and then you're trying to change the programming and handle the pain at the same time. When you introduce J-juice at the end of somebody's life, it is going to be a lost cause, okay? Because they won't have the strength to really, unless they have a very good support system. And there's probably exceptions to every rule when it comes to taking on JJ at the end of the line, okay? There's always exceptions to the rule, but JJ hasn't been around long enough for anyone to actually try out and apply it to the end of somebody's life to then give us feedback that a person was able to withstand the pain sequence through the J-juice protocol and being in hospice and then get themselves out of hospice onto the maybe stage 4 cancer, stage 3, and then turn the hands of time back to where there's like no cancer. I have yet to see that. So when I talk about somebody implementing J-juice when it's too late, when the infection got that bad. Now you can have it too late on a body that's still going to live, but the implementation of J-juice at the level that people should to get to the next level is probably going to not happen for that person. And what do I mean by that? Well, what is life? Okay, so I have a formula for life. Life is if and only if the human body to the power of viruses plus the J-juice, and this is in parentheses, to the infinite power is equally proportional to pain, productivity, and energy, okay? Which means that there is no antibiotic probiotic method being implemented in here, okay? You're going to be doing J-juice to the infinite power. You're already exposed to the human, of course you have the human bodies, already exposed to the viruses because you can't get away from that. And you're going to be dealing with pain if you have weaknesses or if you have to heal or if you go into an area where there's an upset of homeostasis. And so usually when you're dealing with a strong body or dealing with just a continuous life, your body's going to fluctuate as far as dealing with pain, productivity, and energy on a strong body because you never know what kind of environment you're going to walk into. It's not always going to let you know that you're walking into a pretty chaotic environment unless you kind of see indicators and then you go down another path, okay? So that's so on a weak body, okay? On a weak body, when you're applying the antibiotic and probiotic method that are equally proportional, they're basically equal, and it's directly proportional to pain, productivity, and energy, you're going to be applying antibiotics. You're going to be wanting to go through the anesthetization process, which is based upon the allopathic holistic model / the antibiotic probiotic sequence. Okay, so when I say that someone has gone using the J-juice too late when they have a major infection, is they're going to wait for that infection because they're going to be applying the antibiotic probiotic method. And people have. For example, if you have a tooth infection and then you're applying the antibiotic probiotic method in the allopathic holistic world, and you're wrestling around someone recommending root canals, tooth extractions, all these different things, and you haven't done it yet, and you're trying all these different things like colloidal silver and turmeric or any other type of antibiotic, essential oil type of stuff, and now your issue has gotten worse, and those antibiotics don't work, even the natural antibiotics, and you're only left with two choices, which is it's just like so perfect. You're left with two choices. You either do the J juice and you deal with the pain, okay? But then pain also causes PTSD because people don't understand what pain means. It's going to mess with their psyche. So if they don't understand J juice at the level that they should, if they're applying it, they're going to have a PTSD trauma from that pain, okay? Because they haven't implemented, they waited to the last second. So when you're faced with where your infection got that bad, and you're faced with either doing the allopathic model where they're going to inject you with antibiotics and painkillers, and then also potentially do some kind of root canal or whatever else they recommended to you 2 years back when you first initially had this issue, now you have to make a choice. And if you're so anti, establishment, anti allopathic or anti-dentist, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go with the J juice model. And then what you're doing is you're applying the antibiotic probiotic method when you're utilizing J juice because you waited till the last second to where now you're going to be basically experiencing PTSD because you waited so long. And so when a person waits so long, they don't understand the J juice for what it is, and they utilize it to deal with thinking that it's going to be some miracle working type of drug like all of your other remedies that you've used, and it doesn't work and it actually induces more pain, you're then going to then eventually, because it's going to get so bad because you don't understand for what it is, it's not only going to try to heal that specific area, but the rest of your body that is also afflicted by other issues, it's going to also try to heal that as well. And you're not going to understand it. And you're going to think that J juice is hurting you. So then what do? You then immediately go to the allopathic holistic remedies, which is their injections of painkillers. They'll take the swelling down and then they'll do other stuff. And then you're going to find relief. And then you're going to think that J juice actually hurt you, that you were having more damage sustained from the J juice when you don't realize that you getting the allopathic holistic probiotic model is not only on a weak body because you can't handle the pain because you waited too long, but now you're on a death trajectory because you're never ever going to go down that road again to where you're taking J juice and you know you have weaknesses and it's going to bring up swelling and you don't know how to handle that simultaneously with allopathic and holistic stuff. And then you are going to stay on the death sequence because now you have a limitation, a block that you've created for yourself. And then you took J juice and made that into something that it wasn't. Okay. Now I'm not trying to shame somebody for waiting to the last minute, but you have to understand that you have to take personal responsibility for your actions for waiting till the last minute. And then you have to realize that all the other protocols that you've ever done, as far as the antibiotic probiotic model prior to you getting to J juice at that 11th hour, were completely ineffective. Obviously, you're not as strong as you think you are. You're carrying around infection that finally came to a head, and then you were faced with only two choices. And obviously, J juice is going to be painful. And then your whole life, you've been dealing with all the essential oils and the painkillers and the colloidal silvers and all that stuff, and you've been basically anesthetizing your body every single time that you have a pain. So you've trained your body to basically wait to take poisons to stop the healing process. And so you'll never ever really go through the pain that you really should, and then use J juice to bring it up. And then if it gets too bad, take it, whatever you got to take as far as the cures on the market, and then simultaneously play with that. Oh no. What's going to happen is you took the allopathic holistic model when the infection got so bad, and now you're going to basically stay away from the J juice. You're not going to drink it at that level. You'll probably still drink 2 tiny little drinks, right? You'll probably just do a little bit of J juice, but then your other lifestyle, all of your fruits and all of your different, other holistic and detoxes and working out and all the things that you've been doing is going to then overwhelm any good that the little bit of J juice that you're doing, because I told you, don't stop the J juice, but you're not going to take it at the level that you should with the amount of infection, with the amount of weaknesses you have in your body. You will never, ever go there. So then you'll treat J juice like a side dish, like a sauerkraut, just like they do in the holistic allopathic world. Oh yeah, you should eat fermented food. You should eat sauerkraut. You should eat this. You should eat that. And people do, and then guess what? They still die in the system because guess what? They're taking more of the antibiotic, probiotic, superficial diet changes in the holistic world on a very weak body. And death is going to then overtake at some point. They're going to see a progressive, continuous degradation. And then guess what's going to happen? They're going to blame the JJs. Well, if I hadn't waited, and if I hadn't just, gone to the allopathic instead of doing JJs, I would have, not have progressed this or deteriorated this rapidly or whatever. I mean, people will blame the JJs in some way when they can't stay on it because they can't handle the pain. And who's to say that J-juice didn't really knock out some other issue that's in your body or helped you during that process when you had to then eventually go because you couldn't handle it? Because here's what happens. When you do, let's say at the 11th hour, I'm going to give you the other side of it, what could have happened for this person if they didn't go to the allopathic holistic. It was already draining. Their tooth or their mouth was already draining, but they couldn't handle the pain. But the body found a way to actually drain that abscess. And if they just would have just kept, doing the J-juice and dealt with the pain and keep draining that area, it would have eventually gone down. The pain would have subsided and they would have healed, but they couldn't handle. And I can't tell a person if they should handle the pain. Everyone has their own pain threshold, but the body will find a way to make sure that the things that are building up in the body, if you give it the right elements, will drain. Okay? Lymphatic systems will drain. When things get so big, like especially when people do have a blockage in their lymphatic system and they're doing J-juice and they're swelling, yes, you can do a shortcut and go get Western medicine to go then pop that bubble of white blood cells and pus and drain it and then still do the J-juice. If you were out there without any medical intervention and you were dealing and you only had was J-juice, you would have no choice but to allow your body to work the way it's supposed to if you're giving it the right elements. And yeah, you'll have to go through the pain process. There are some people that go through the pain process that is not as extreme or as aggressive as other people's infections because they let it wait, they let it go for so long. And then they're trying to use JJ at the 11th hour and they think it's going to work miracles as far as their expectation. And it doesn't. And when I say it's too late, it's because now they're in so much pain where it causes PTSD. They go to the doctors and then the doctor gives them that, oh, I'm the hero for the day because I took down your swelling, I took away the pain. You will now have a perception of J-juice that you never had before, and you'll never go back to J-juice, which means that's the end of the line for you. No, you're not dead, but the whole point of J-juice is dead in your eyes because you let it get that bad. You didn't fully understand it, and you use J-juice as a remedy with an expectation it's going to act like your colloidal silver on a potentially benign infection. That's not how you use J-juice. So people who apply the antibiotic probiotic method on a weak body will be on a death trajectory, and it will only be a matter of time. And so this is why I have these formulas, because you understand when you are turning to the antibiotic probiotic method, where the pain and the productivity and the energy is directly proportional to each other based upon what your intention is, which is basically to anesthetize yourself. You're basically working from a weak body standpoint. You'll never, ever get to the point of a continuous life on a strong body because because you let it wait too long and you don't understand, and then you don't understand how to utilize the Western medicine. What the person should have done is not seek me out. They should have done whatever the doctor told them to do and then apply J-juice. But the fact that they waited, because I don't know what people's understanding is. People say, oh yeah, I understand, and then they don't. And I get it, and then sometimes it's too late for me to say, okay, stop it, because they've already just, because then if I say don't do it, they'll be like, well, why? And then they'll hold it against me. But some people will apply the J-juice too late, and it's going to be a lost cause for them. And so anyways, that's what I mean by, what is too late on a weak body when it comes to J-juice. So you don't have to die to have it be too late. It could be the fact that you've let things go for so long that you will now have a changed perception of JJ. So you guys, so Mandy was saying like, well, what, so should we not recruit people, that it's too late for them or something? We don't recruit anybody. There is no recruitment with J-juice. You drop seeds and you let people chase this. The people who not only drop seeds, but they ram it down their friend's throat and then make them wrong for not doing it, or they try to sell it to their friends as if it was like the miracle end all be all. Oh, it can be a miracle end all be all, but you have to actually apply work to it. You got to work for the healing, for the outcome. Okay? Nothing comes for free in life. Just like out there, in the world, when people think, oh yeah, the earth's resources should be free. Oh yeah, everything is free, but you still got to work for getting it to your house and then be able to live on it with a certain amount of time. And not everybody lives around resources that we need or can procure resources so easily, as far as energy and electricity and water and all the creature comforts that we're so used to. So guess what? You got to pay for your living with an infrastructure that is built in right for you. Okay? So when it comes to J-Juice, the benefits of J-Juice, it ain't for free. I mean, it is as far as getting it. Not really. I mean, you still got to pay for the salt. You still got to pay for the water. You still got to pay for the cabbage. You still got to wait for the fermentation to happen. And then you got to deal with the healing process. You got to deal with the pain. I can't tell you how long the pain process is. If you've waited for an infection to get so bad to where now you're faced with either Western medicine or J-Juice, yeah, you're going to have a while. And most likely that infection in your mouth is connected to other infections in your body that you have to deal with. So J-Juice is not only dealing with this certain infection at hand, but also anything else that you have a weakness in that you're not prepared to fight. See, when you do J-Juice, it's going to be a battle of the whole body, not just the things that you came in for. So you came in with TMJ, you came in with an infection in your mouth, you came in with psoriasis and eczema, you came in with PMDD. Oh no, the J-Juice doesn't discriminate. It just doesn't go to that specific area that you think needs to be dealt with. Oh no, you have 11 different systems that the body is going to prioritize and it's going to deal with first. And it's not always that you're going to have that specific system that you want taken care of be dealt with first. So J-Juice is a wake-up call for those that have been playing the allopathic holistic game, that hate the establishment, but then will go turn to the establishment when it's the 11th hour and they can't handle their own thought process. It's a wake-up call. It is the moment of truth when you think you're so healthy and you're so strong, and then J-Juice says, no, you're not as healthy as you think you are, or as you claim to be, and you're not as strong as you think you are. J-Juice will take down even the most narcissistic person who thinks they're so strong. No, honey, you're not as strong as you think you are or claim to be. And so, yeah, J-Juice, people don't like J-Juice because they can't hide behind all of their claims that they've made out there. They can't hide behind their muscles. They can't hide behind their ideologies they spew all over Facebook. No, J-Juice says, hey, you really truly want to know what life is and what death is? Here you go. Life is when you actually have to feel the pain to heal, to where you don't have to keep anesthetizing yourself with colloidal silver, turmeric, honey, working out, whatever. Death is where you are just living off all your fruits. Death is where you're feeding the candida. Death is where you are taking poisons to anesthetize your body. Death is where you're playing the divide and conquer game, blaming everyone but yourself for everything that you've ever dealt with that you didn't like. And so, yeah, that's why I kind of know what I'm in for when people come to me and say, oh yeah, I had a great message from somebody I accepted as a friend on my Facebook. They're like, we've seen all the negative publicity, but I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you're doing, what you're putting out there. And I appreciate it. And, and I don't know what level they understand as far as just what they've been exposed to, but they've been following me for a while. And that's what incentivizes me to keep going, is the fact that there are people that, even though I don't know who they are, they have been watching and they understand, they see all the flack that I get. And I'm still able to deal with it and keep moving on and producing. And they're going to then take it to their world and they're going to show their friends and family. And they're going to be that example. And those are the people that we want in this new world, so to speak, is the ones that can continuously adapt to their environment and deal with the pain process. They don't let things get that bad, and then they're faced with only two decisions. And when they don't get what they want, they're going to blame. Okay? And so yeah, not everybody waits till the last minute. Not everybody waits till things get that bad. I never waited for things to get that bad. Thank God I was so driven to live to where I took whatever information that I knew at that time. And I was heavily into the conspiracy world in 2016, okay? But I took what I knew from the holistic world and from the allopathic world, and I put it all together. And then I didn't really put it all together. I put enough pieces together to get some kind of homeostasis interruption. And then I brought it to you guys. And then we did a peer review. You guys gave me feedback. 60,000 people, not all 60,000, but I would say about 1% of that 60,000 people gave me enough feedback because you were enough of a cross section of people in the holistic, allopathic, psychotherapy, chemistry world to then let me know what was going on for them to correct some of the mistakes that I've made as far as just like the compound chemical formulas and other things that other mistakes I may have made along the way. And you've corrected me. My trolls corrected me as well as my supporters corrected me. And I took those corrections on and I kept going. And then, of course, my background with living in the Bay Area, being around bio and technology and around the law and around psychotherapy, all of that is a perfect storm to really understanding how a human works. Now it's just putting the pieces together. How does it fit physiologically, biochemically? And then taking in all the different conspiracies and the different religions and the different spiritual and physical healing protocols, and then really understanding what they're trying to do and why, and then not allowing the words and those belief systems separate us, finding the common ground between all of them and saying, okay, this is a different word for the same thing. We're all working from the same thing. We just have a different way of explaining it based upon, cultures and backgrounds and education levels too. Okay. So I'm very thankful that I was driven enough to see through the Tower of Babel, so to speak. Okay. So anyways, I'm gonna do my thing. I have things to do, but you guys keep doing the J juice. Do not let your infections and all your BS get that bad to where now J juice is at the 11th hour and you're gonna try to take J juice as a remedy and it's not gonna work. You do J juice a little bit and you just transition onto it. Realize that when you have weaknesses, because obviously you guys have weaknesses. You're aging, you're degrading, you have issues, okay, in your body, mind, and spirit. Those things are going to come up. And sometimes if they come up aggressively, especially physically, then go to the doctor, get it figured out, and get stabilized, and then get back on the J juice. And you just keep going. And do what you have to do to bring in different therapies, whether it's, breathing therapies, cannabis, psychotherapy, different physical therapy. Do what you have to do to help you guys get through. But never, ever give up on J juice. Keep increasing your dosages with J juice. Stay on the diet. Don't overwhelm your system with so much fruit that it becomes now another source for your candida to feed upon and cause imbalances. Do the J juice, okay? Deal with the emotional and the physical and all that stuff and the spiritual healing. And eventually you are going to see the benefits that you're seeing as far as the testimonies. But you have to stay with it. You can't do it intermittently and think that you're going to get all these benefits when you only do a little bit here and a little bit there and all that. No. Those that apply the antibiotic probiotic method and have it to be where they don't want to feel pain at all, when you're overwhelming your system with the antibiotic probiotic method, and that is your go-to, and then you're applying other logics, other protocols, and you're not, and it's superseding J juice, yeah, you'll be on a weak body on a death trajectory. J juice should really be first and foremost. It should overwhelm all the antibiotic and probiotic methods and all other protocols that you guys are propagating other than J juice. J juice should overwhelm and supersede everything out there that's on the market. Okay, And it really should be something that you talk about as far as your healing process, so they understand where it comes from. Yes, there are people that say great things out there that are doctors and nurses and in leaders in their spiritual as well as their allopathic holistic world. But if those things really truly worked by themselves without J juice, then we wouldn't need J juice. So obviously all the things that you guys are promoting that are other than J juice is not really effective on a body that's weak on a death trajectory. Understand that J juice is the first and foremost, and it should supersede anything that you're promoting out there. All right. Bye.